Hello, this is Dia Damson, and today we are going to do a really fun painting of cherries. And what I'm going to use is wet on wet technique. And the first thing we're going to do, of course, is sketching our simple shapes. They're circles with a stem on the top. And I will combine wet on wet and wet on dry. So I am going in, making sure that I'm leaving that white area a little bit more cleaner than the rest of the cherry where the highlight is hitting. And then I'm going to drop in the paint. Now you could have done the first part where I had very light red in just water, will not matter. I just wanted you kind of to see what I'm covering with the water. So, and after that we are going quickly dropping in a little bit of a shadow. Now a shadow is blue, and mixing with red will become a little bit more purplish. It looks much darker than it will be because it's going to start merging around and moving. And now I'm gonna apply with a bluish purplish color on the bottom, a shadow. I am rushing this one a little bit. You can leave the cherry slightly to dry before you add this part, because the color from the cherry is going to start moving into the shadow parts. But because our shadow is purple and the cherry is red, I am not worried. It's not going to create some weird color combination for our shadow, so we can very quickly clean up the area if something gets messed up. And what I will do here is go over and cover this area with water. So I want you to see what happens if we forget to leave a little area for the highlight. So we're going to move to the next cherry, and we are going to kind of repeat the process. Our cherry is facing away from us, but pretty much is a circle, and the highlight is hitting kind of like 1 o'clock, 1:30. Now we're gonna go and drop our color in. I am using magenta or kind of a darker red for that, and then with the blue I am going to drop the shadow. And this is what I did here. I just really fast, before it completely dries, cleaned it up with a clean wet brush. So it's not a drippy wet brush, it's just slightly wet, and the shadow is cleaned up. So now for almost the same color, I am going to drop in here and gently move it around and tap my brush and go around the cherry. And if something is too much, I'll just lift it up with a clean wet brush. And the last cherry, pretty much the same thing. The only difference is I want to leave a little line for our stem that is going in the middle of that cherry. So that is the only difference that we will experience with the one way on the back. Lifting the color with a clean wet brush, super easy. Taking back our highlight, and if it's not completely white, that's okay, because our cherry, we're gonna drop a little more red color in it to make it redder or we're gonna emphasize with more paint and less wet surface, less water, and the paint will be a little bit deeper hue. There's our second layer on this little guy on the front. I left a little bit less paint right underneath that stem. If you see, it's kind of like a little smiley right underneath the stem of the cherry on the front. And a lot of times when I'm painting fruit, instead of just brushing my brush, I'm kind of dabbing and adding that color by dabbing it on the canvas. Emphasizing on the shadow. So the front cherry is pretty much done. The only thing it's missing is the stem. And once we put the stem in, everything will look absolutely perfect. But before I forget, please don't forget to subscribe and click that notification bell so you get notifications for my future videos. And here is the stem, starting first with a very light green, and after that I'm gonna drop in a little bit more bluish green, so mixing a little bit darker green and just adding it on the one side. Even though it's very tiny, we still want to make sure that it looks three-dimensional. So it's time for the second shadow, and I'm just gonna go really fast in and add that blue. Now the first shadow was a little bit more purplish because our cherry gave some of the colors to our shadow. So now we have to add that purple in it because the top cherry is almost dry. But pretty much that's it. So I hope you enjoyed this painting, and if you did, please don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you soon. Happy painting. Bye.